Emergency responders in Spain are battling a wildfire that broke out in a national park on the island of Tenerife.
More people have been evacuated from their homes on the Spanish island of Tenerife as a wildfire in the north of the island burns out of control.
In recent days, the world has had to deal with several raging fires that have wreaked havoc in many communities in North America and Europe. Indeed, as the Hawaiian government is carrying out investigations on the fires that ravaged through a good portion of Maui, the residents and the tourists in Europe are wondering if it's safe to return to Tenerife. These concerns are not far-fetched because for a period of 10 days in the summer, many believed that the drought and the searing heat wave may have caused the biggest wildfire in Spain in recent memory.
Thousands of people were evacuated or confined to their homes on the Spanish island of Tenerife on Saturday morning.
So large was this fire that thousands had to be evacuated for their own safety. And as the firefighters spent days battling these ever-growing flames, the truth behind its cause may make you wonder what exactly could have sparked these flames. Join us as we head over to the Canary Islands. That way, we can take a look at the devastation that was caused by the Tenerife fires. Before we dive into the horrible events that occurred this summer, perhaps it's best to take a look at the beautiful island that is Tenerife. Before the 10-day fire that threatens to scar this island forever, Tenerife was and actually still remains the largest of the 7 islands that make up the archipelago that is the Canary Islands. Located with the rest of the cluster of islands that make up the Canaries, Tenerife is located about 100 miles away from Africa, making it the southernmost of autonomous communities of Spain. Not only is Tenerife the largest of these islands, it's also among the most populated, with nearly 1 million of the 2 million people calling the Canary Islands home living in Tenerife, a number which makes it the most populous island in all of Spain. Despite being the largest and most populous island in Spain, many would be familiar with Tenerife because it's one of the most popular tourist destination spots in the world. An average of about 10 to 12 million people make that trip across the Atlantic Ocean just so that they can bask in the glorious sun that shines over the islands in this archipelago. And on average, about 5 million, a number which represents a good chunk of the Canary Islands visitors, make their way to Tenerife. To be honest, you can't really blame them because not only is the climate perfect for that summer holiday, it's also home to some amazing attractions, such as the archaeological sites of the Guanche time. These are cave paintings that can be found all over the island. Furthermore, Tenerife is also home to some historical sites that were built before the island was conquered by Castile. Imagine walking through the beautiful cathedral of San Cristobal de la Laguna, or enjoying some jazz or world music at the Auditorio de Tenerife. These were the amazing things that were put at risk when the frightening flames wreaked havoc on the beautiful island this summer. We're pretty sure that those who had booked that summer trip to the Canary Islands got way more than they bargained for when they woke up on the 15th of August 2023. For those who were on the scene, they must have been shocked to wake up to these wild flames that seemed to start somewhere close to the base of Mount Teide in the Arafo Candelaria region of Tenerife, the largest of the 7 islands that form the Canary Islands. Nearly 15,000 hectares of this island was destroyed by the rampaging flames. Residents and tourists alike were forced to watch as the flames ate through the villages of Arafo, Candelaria, Guimar, Faznia, El Rosario, La Orotava, Santa Ursula, La Victoria, La Matanza, El Sauzal, Tacoronto, and Los Realejos. In the end, it's believed that between 8,000 to 12,000 people had to be evacuated from these areas before there were any casualties. And that could easily have been the case, because not only were these fires the biggest that had occurred in Spain in 2023 so far, These fires are believed to be the largest that had occurred in Spain for over 40 years. Thankfully, despite the magnitude of these earth-scorching flames, it has been reported so far that nobody had succumbed to the fires. Furthermore, as far as reports go, the damage to property was minimal, as well as the flames seeming to ravage through many of the pine trees in the area, which made up about 4% of Tenerife. Fortunately, firefighters arrived at the scene as soon as they could. Well, at least that's what the reports tell us. Despite the fact that the flames were able to reach its 6th generation due to its intensity, the firefighters were eventually able to stabilize these flames after 10 days of firefighting. After cutting off access to the mountains on the island, especially in the areas concerning Teide National Park and its surrounding trails, the firefighters were able to battle the flames despite its growing intensity that was fanned by the high winds and the high temperature in the area. According to Fernando Clavijo, the regional leader of the Canary Islands, we must thank the largest firefighting force in the island's history for keeping the damage to life and property at this minimal rate. This dry temperature seemed to be plaguing several parts of Europe, as Greece and France have had to deal with similar conditions that helped the flames grow in Spain. In Greece, the authorities had no other choice but to evacuate the residents of 4 villages close to Alexandroupolis, a northeastern region of the southeastern European nation that borders Turkey, in August. This was thanks to a raging fire that was similar in nature to that which occurred in Spain. The flames were so intense that the authorities put its citizens on alert, because they believed that it was possible for strong winds to spread the flames all the way to the region surrounding Athens, the nation's capital. Over in France, the searing heat had put the authorities on high alert as well. Thanks to the ever-rising temperatures in cities like Lyon, Perpignan, Marseille, Carpentras and Montélimar, they have placed certain areas on level orange alert so that they can make sure that the late-season heat waves that they believed may have been caused by a vast anticyclonic zone that traversed through the atmosphere, which was already charged with hot air due to its compression, doesn't somehow evolve into the fires that we've seen in Greece and Spain. Nonetheless, the 10-day flames over in Tenerife were a reminder that much of these fires seem to happen in Spain. It might surprise some of us who aren't in the know, but it appears to be that Spain accounts for a good majority of the fires that occur in Europe, with about 40% of the land ravaged in the EU by these ragged flames that ran through Spain in 2022. This run has continued into 2023, with 75,000 hectares of land succumbing to flames so far in 2023, way ahead of Italy and Greece if you listen to the people over at the European Forest Fire Information System. As the thousands of residents and tourists desperately search for a sanctuary away from the licks of these fierce flames, you cannot blame them if they thought that these flames were caused by some freak of nature. Indeed, the intense heat wave that had been pervading the planet this summer had been a cause for concern. As global warming organizations speculate that we have now evolved from a status of global warming to global boiling, thanks to the byproducts of industrialism and fossil fuels which has eaten away at our ozone layers, there may be some fear that these wildfires may become the new normal. However, even before the flames were quenched by the firefighters, something sinister clinged onto the panic in the air. As the people struggled with the poor air quality in regions like Arafo, Los Realejos and La Orotava, whispers down the grapevine started to speculate that this isn't some sort of natural wildfire. As the local government officials and the firefighters observed the patterns of the fires as they struggled to breathe through the coarse air through their FFP2 face masks, they couldn't find any of the telltale signs of a fire that could have been sparked by a bolt of lightning or sparks that could have been caused by rocks in a rockfall. Instead, by the 20th of August, the authorities were able to determine that the fire was definitely caused by humans. Even worse, it was determined that this wasn't an accident. all signs point to the fact that this was, in the very least, an intentional fire. So before we can say that this was a direct act of arson, we have to see the results of the 3 lines of investigation that were opened by the police force. With any luck, we will be able to determine who could be responsible for such chaos at this popular holiday spot. As the 400-man-strong firefighting force did their best to stabilize the flames that threatened to ravage through the largest island of the archipelago cluster, the residents wonder what's next for the Canary Islands. Like most of Europe, they will have to deal with the ever-rising temperatures across the continent. Sure, the conditions serve to help the firefighters manage the situation during this 10-day incident. They hope that the soaring temperature does not spark another wildfire. As we alluded to earlier, these fires seem to occur in Spain more than any other place in Europe. Last year, 306,555 hectares of land were ravaged by flames, the largest amount that has ever been recorded in history. Already, 75,000 hectares have been eaten through by these flames, and although we hope that last year's record is not replicated, we know that could only be the case if the firefighters remain vigilant. Thanks to their work during the last incident, we are certain that they will prevail. Meanwhile, as the water-carrying planes quench the flames that ate through Tenerife, we know that they must get to the root of the factors that created these flames. So many lives were at stake, and if not for the authorities, maybe the damage to life and property would have been a lot worse. Furthermore, it would probably boost the confidence of those looking to return to the holiday island if they know that they will be safe despite the searing heat. Hopefully, those who caused such a disaster would be forced to face the heat for their actions. This brings our video to an end. Is there any way they could be wrong? Is it possible that these fires were natural? Please tell us all about them in the comment section. Don't forget to like and subscribe as well. Until next time, goodbye.